Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. You know something, girls? The more that I think about it, Descendants and Zombies could go for more action scenes. So I've been thinking about doing the whole Evel Knievel thing with Red on the back of my motorcycle and jumping the Grand Canyon like Evel Knievel attempted to do before being stopped in 1968. Yeah, man, I would love to do that. Either that or do the whole Super Dave Osborne thing where they used to blow up the bus with Super Dave Osborne on the inside of it. That's what it got me thinking of. But I love the action scenes in Descendants, I really do. And that's inspired me to become an action hero. You know, one of those really pumped up action heroes that always comes in to save princesses like Red and Mal. I would always love to do that kind of thing. But the only way that could ever happen is if some girl would be incredibly sweet enough to hit my subscribe button. Because I know, without you girls, I would not be here tonight. I would not have the opportunity to sit behind this podcast microphone. I would have never been given this opportunity to create such a beautiful show for so many people who love hearing my voice when it comes to Descendants and Zombies. Because there are so many people that create these videos on YouTube, and the videos don't even make any sense. They just say what they like about Descendants, what they don't like about Descendants, they rank the songs, and what is the point of that? I mean, if you're talking about a zombie apocalypse or an alien mothership on the way to Earth to kill us all, at least make people who are watching your video believe there is a chance that an alien mothership could come to Earth and invade us and kill us all. I mean, I've been trying to be abducted by aliens for years. Now, I haven't succeeded at that. Ever since I was like 9 years old, I've been trying to get abducted by aliens, and my parents thought I was crazy, sent me for psychological evaluations every once in a while, but, I turned it okay. I ended up with 3,000 girls subscribed to my YouTube channel. I just wanted to encourage them that, dreams do come true. Happily ever after does exist. Forever had a chance of existing. They would find their true love, no matter how long it took them. I mean, what's so wrong with that? Nobody else who ever creates Descendants or Zombies videos has inspired you that dreams do come true and forever does exist, because it really does. Forever does exist. I know I'm this really cute guy who talks about being abducted by aliens and how real it actually is, and he lives near a soda plantation and a chemical plant, which you guys have never seen. But I'm going to do something about that. I'm going to take my camera one of these days and get a picture by that chemical plant and that soda plantation that could explode. Yeah, man, I just wanted to live the whole Descendants Zombies experience out for you guys, and I think I've succeeded in doing that. Because just a couple of nights ago, for those of you who joined me from my Zombies Forward Down to the Vampires review, it happened during a thunder and lightning storm, which just happened to be one of the most severe in the history of this island, which there are only two ways off of: by boat that could sink, crash, and explode, by plane that could crash, sink, and explode. Either way results in instantaneous death. How many of you are young enough to remember that show, 1,000 Ways to Die? Man, oh my. This island puts me in mind of like Jurassic Park, Descendants, what other horror kind of movies? Like I Know What You Did Last Summer, where they open up the movie with the water crashing up against the shore and everything goes to hell in a handbasket. I just love bringing videos to life for each and every one of you. And my graduation was a nightmare. I had no date. I think I back body dropped somebody into the miniature fountain at the back of the auditorium. Wasn't good. My graduation reminded me of WWE Royal Rumble. Come to think of it, tonight is WWE SummerSlam in 2 hours. Bell time is at 7:30. So, yeah. So I love creating these videos for each and every one of you. I really do. I think it's really cool that I have so many different fans subscribe from the Descendants and Zombies niches. And I think it's really cool that not only Descendants fans watch these videos, but also Zombies fans watch these videos too. And I want to send a special shout out to girls whose hearts lie with zombies. Thank you so much for clicking the subscribe button on my YouTube channel and taking a chance on me. Perhaps I should talk about zombies more than I do talk about Descendants. I don't know, but it's really sweet that girls actually hit my subscribe button who are fans of zombies, because initially this YouTube channel was supposed to be Descendants content only, and then girls that love the zombies started showing up here, and we've all fallen in love with each other, and I fell in love with the guy who hosts the show, so I think we can stay calm and zombie on for a little while longer, because I know that without you guys, I would not have had the honor bestowed upon me to create this YouTube channel and be able to talk about Descendants and Zombies like I have. Honestly. I read an interesting article the other day about how Freya Sky loves board games. So I don't know how many of you girls out there love board games. I was always a fan of retro board games from the 90s, like 13 Dead End Drive, Nightmare, Guess Who, Dream Phone was, I'm sure, oh my god, I'm going to have a bunch of girls crushing on me for playing Dream Phone. But I used to get together with a bunch of girls when I was in high school, and I used to play Dream Phone. That was back in the 90s. Oh my god, that wasn't yesterday. Remember that game where they had the electronic phone that was battery operated, and you would call all these different guys and you would try to find out who your crush was? Man, I played that. I played Mousetrap. I played Hungry Hungry Hippos and broke every hippo in the game. I think there were 4 of them, and I smashed them. And then there was that game Twister. Of course, there was the one where you could hook it up to a sprinkler outside on your lawn and sprinkle yourself with water. And oh man, I had the time of my life playing all these board games. I even had the creepy crawlers machine where you could actually make candy in this little battery-powered oven. It was crazy. I had a lot of fun growing up in the 1990s, and my heart goes out to Kylie Cantrell, whose dream was to grow up in the 1990s. You know, I can remember when the Backstreet Boys album was first released. I was at Music World at the time, and I bought the Backstreet Boys album. That was in 1996. May 5th, 1996. I pre-ordered the Backstreet Boys album, and I went to Music World and I picked it up. And I couldn't believe that I was one of the first guys to hold the Backstreet Boys album in their hand. And then years later I met Aaron Carter. We talked on social media for years. I got to know the Backstreet Boys and understand them better than anybody. And I had a really close friendship with Aaron Carter before he passed away a number of years ago. And it really touched my heart that I was able to grow up in the 1990s and live through so many iconic moments. Like the rise of the Backstreet Boys, the popularity and stardom of NSYNC, Britney Spears, who received a lot of criticism. Remember that battle between Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera? Probably too many of you are too young to remember that, perhaps. But I do remember that. I do remember Christina Aguilera's very first music video. It was called Genie in a Bottle. And I remember going to a video dance years ago and seeing that on the big screen for the first time ever. I watched the premiere of Christina Aguilera's Genie in a Bottle music video. And I think, didn't they do something with Dove Cameron and Genie in a Bottle for one of the Descendants movies? But I do remember that. I remember the popularity of TV shows like Rugrats and SpongeBob SquarePants when SpongeBob premiered in 1999 in May of that year. That was a couple of weeks before my birthday. And my mom was a huge fan of SpongeBob SquarePants. Man, I have so many childhood memories. And the really cool thing about Descendants is I get to talk to you guys about that. You know, when I hear things like Kylie Cantrell wanting to grow up in the 1990s and that having been a dream of hers, all I've ever wanted to do is make Kylie Cantrell's dreams come true, honest to God. Because I've seen her cry herself to sleep every night because of this relationship she had with this guy, and she really thought so much over this guy. She really did. So when I hear her crying on TikTok videos and I see her crying, you know, it's one thing to hear her cry, but to see her cry, my heart literally falls out of my chest. And it feels like it's smashed. You know that feeling when somebody takes a sledgehammer to your heart and they swing with full force and they shatter your heart? Well, that's how I feel when I see Kylie Cantrell crying. And when I see Ruby Rose Turner not being able to make sense of her own life, I just wish I could be there to help Ruby make sense of her own life. You know, girls, don't ever let a guy get the better of you. If I can offer you some advice, please don't ever let a guy get the better of you, because you're the only thing that's ever made sense to me in this life. And I say this because girls will just offer their opinion to a guy, telling them what they think you should do. They're not telling you what to do. They're telling you what they think you should do because they know better than you do. And I don't know why guys are such idiots and don't listen to girls, because I think that if guys listened to girls, they would be far better off. Honestly, a girl tells you to join the gym, join the gym. If a girl tells you that she just wants you to pay more attention to her, pay more attention to her. If a girl tells you she wants to go watch her favorite movie with you at the movie theater, go with her. You only have one life to live. Do what makes her happy, and see how better off you'll be. Trust me, guys, on this. I'm going to have 1 million girls hitting my subscribe button, I know, but I just believe that girls make everything make sense in this world. And I know I sound like I have a zombie infection every time I do a video, but you're going to have to forgive me. You know, hunting vampires every night never gets easy, especially when there are more vampires than you expect, and then at the last moment you run out of steaks. You know, you're like Rapunzel with the frying pan in your backpack. And then when you go out there and you realize you don't have enough supplies to make it till dawn, oh, you're really screwed. But I do it to protect each and every one of you. I really do. I lift weights and everything to stay in shape for the vampire thing, and I hope that some girl is going to hit my subscribe button because she loves Descendants of Zombies as much as what I do. I remember reading the Dracula book years ago in high school. I studied it, and ever since I studied Dracula, I've always wanted to be a vampire slayer. So then I started watching Buffy by 1997. I did some work with that because a lot of professional wrestlers I knew in the wrestling industry were casted as extra vampires on Buffy, and one of them actually just passed away last year. He was a very good friend of mine. His name was Scott Schwartz. And then I fell in love with the Vampire Diaries TV series, and I must have binge-watched that 100 times. I've always wanted to get into a racket with David Salvatore and punch him in the face. I think that Ian Somerhalder was a very arrogant guy, but that goes without saying that. And then I heard all this controversy about Dove Cameron, and oh man. The girls in Descendants are incredibly talented. So I think that they deserve to be treated with a hell of a lot more respect than they have ever been treated or ever been given. Can't we just give Dove Cameron the benefit of the doubt and stop saying that she quit on her career and she quit on all of us? Because Dove Cameron did anything but quit on all of us. There were a lot of rumors about Dove Cameron, a lot of speculation. But what you had to put into perspective is that Dove Cameron really went through a lot. I mean, at 13 years old, her dad never even told her that he loved her. And when I heard that story, it broke my heart. He told her that he loved her, but he didn't tell it to her very often, more than what she ever wanted to hear it. So I think that, Dove still has a lot of unanswered questions. She's still trying to figure out her own life and what she wants to get the most out of it. So I think that we just shouldn't really, I think what we're doing is we're really judging Dove Cameron, and we're saying a lot of things about her because she quit the Descendants franchise, believing she had told the story and completed it. She lost a lot of really good friends. She lost her best friend at the age of 8. She lost Cameron Boyce in 2019. That was just 6 years ago. And we're all so brokenhearted over that. I wasn't very fond of a lot of guys on Disney Channel, and I achieved worldwide popularity on YouTube for talking about people like Ryan McCartan and Thomas Doherty, and really letting them have it, and Ross Lynch and Mitchell Musso years ago when I was a fan of Hannah Montana. I achieved worldwide popularity for really letting the guys on Disney Channel have it, but I think they really deserved it because they could never put the girls' wishes and desires before them. And what I saw Ryan McCartan do with Dove Cameron really broke my heart. And within, I think, 3 months of uploading videos last year, before I had to go away, I had over 100,000 views on my channel. And my heart goes out to every girl that ever stood behind me and what I thought of people like Ryan McCartan. Because I just thought the treatment of people like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson, who just tries to keep her relationships private, the treatment of them was totally ridiculous. And I just want every girl to know that maybe going through the same kind of thing that Dove Cameron was, you're never alone. No matter what a guy thinks of you, you are far more special than you're ever given credit for. And I just want you to know that. And that's why I go out of my way to create the best Descendants and Zombies videos that I could possibly put out there for you. Because I just want you to know the support is here for you when you need it. If you're looking for a guy to talk about Descendants and Zombies the best way possible, then you're going to want to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Because I have seen a lot of people on YouTube create these outrageous videos about Descendants and Zombies for the better part of 10 years. Nobody can ever seem to say anything nice about it. It's just, their videos made up of criticism. And I just wanted to take that away from you guys, because I'm tired of seeing Kylie Control cry. I'm tired of Dove Cameron crying on podcast interviews where she should be having fun, talking about her relationships. I'm tired about the guys always mentioning that on the interviews with Dove Cameron. They always want to get the deep, dark secrets out of Dove Cameron about what it was like to be with Ryan McCartan for so long, what it was like to be with Thomas Doherty for so long, how she feels about being with Damiano David now in a relationship. And they always want to make them seem like they were the ones that were in the. They were never the ones that were in the wrong, and my heart just goes out to them because all they ever wanted to do was be there for you guys. And one of the biggest reasons I think why their relationships didn't turn out the way they wanted to, and for the better, was because they chose you over their relationships. So many times I would see Dove Cameron do interviews and PR for Descendants and every other project she had, from Smigadoo to some movie she was doing for Paramount Network or something along those lines, and would choose each and every one of you over her own life, which was amazing. She chose you over having a relationship with her own dad on time. It was crazy. And I think that more respect should be shown to people like Dove Cameron and Kylie Cantrell for everything they had to go through. I mean, Kylie Cantrell, I remember watching her on her show Hello Kylie on YouTube years ago when my YouTube show wasn't really going the way that it wanted to. Actually, I wasn't even on YouTube when I was watching Kylie Cantrell. I had a radio program at the time. And I just thought she was just so incredibly talented, and she was so kind, and all she ever wanted to do was have fun. I remember this little girl with her hair parted on top of her head, with a gap in her teeth, and all she ever wanted to do was talk about her favorite shows. And now, 20 years later, she just turned 20, and I'm seeing her cry about some relationship that she could never make sense of, and she thinks it's her fault. No, it's not her fault. I mean, there are a lot of idiot guys that make up this world. But there are far too many beautiful girls out there, and there are not enough beautiful girls in this world that help it make sense. So let me rephrase that for you again. There are far too many idiot guys in this world, but not enough beautiful girls that help it make sense. So because there are not enough beautiful girls that help it make sense, why are we criticizing them? To make ourselves feel higher up there on a pedestal? To make ourselves feel far more superior than them? To make them feel small, less important? I don't know what the reason is. I can't speak for guys out there, but I do know they're idiots, and it makes me ashamed to be one of them. If anything, Descendants has inspired me to be a better person, and to be a far kinder person than I ever was. I used to be a professional wrestling journalist years ago, and I would be in a lot of places in the world, and I would meet a lot of people that I never wanted to meet, never wanted to be a part of the lives of, covered stuff that I never wanted to cover, and be in a lot of places that I never wanted to be. I have gone on so many dates over the years where people could never make sense of why I was so incredibly supportive of the Descendants and Zombies niches. And I would be in some Chinese restaurant or some fancy restaurant with a girl, and then I would get a notification on my phone about how some girl had subscribed to my YouTube channel or hit my like button, and then I would be questioned. I would be interrogated over why some girl subscribed to my YouTube channel. They subscribe because they love the content I create. And I am never ever going to choose somebody in a relationship over all of you guys, because you guys are all that's ever made sense to me. If you love my YouTube channel, you love my YouTube channel. If you're crushing on me, you're crushing on me. There's nothing I can do about it. All I ever wanted to do was be kind to you guys and let you know that there was a guy out there that loved Descendants and Zombies as much as what each and every one of you did. And every single chance that I got to sit down with a little girl that was a daughter of a girl I may have been dating to watch the entire Descendants franchise back to back to back, I took myself up in the opportunity to do that. Because you only have one life to live. And the way I've always wanted to live my life is just sheer kindness and understand people for what they love. So if the girl loved Descendants or Zombies, I was going to make a consistent effort to try to understand why they loved Descendants and Zombies as much as what they did. Understand and appreciate who they love so much in the way of their favorite characters, and just make them feel as if they were a part of something special. That's all I've ever wanted to do. All I've ever wanted to do is make them feel as if they were a part of something special, like the Worlds Collide Tour tried to do for each and every one of you this summer, and still is doing up until the middle part of September. I have a profound amount of credit and a profound amount of respect for people like Freya Sky and Mila Baker and Kylie Cantrell for just putting it out there that every dream that you have is possible, because it really is. I know there are a lot of people that will tend to discourage you from achieving your dreams, but every dream out there, whatever that dream is possible. And I never ever want you to count yourself out of that dream, because you only have one life to live and one chance that's really going to count in your life. And if you want to be a member of the cheerleading squad, if you want to be a member of the track and field team, if you want to swim, then go for it. I think that girls are much stronger now because of Descendants. They are accomplishing their dreams, and the goals they have set out to achieve years ago, they are now achieving because they're much stronger now because of Descendants and Zombies. You know, I love the original cast, but I love the new cast just as much, if not more, because they still have a lot to learn. They still have a long way to go. And as much as I miss Ruby Rose Turner, I'll get used to Leomani Segura. I'll do my best to try to get used to her, but I don't think there's anyone as beautiful as Ruby out there. I just think that Ruby was somebody that never got enough opportunities in life, and she just wants to be the live-action Rapunzel so bad. For the life of me, I don't know why Disney won't just give her the opportunity and give her a chance. Maybe it's because Jonathan Clarke is not the producer of the live-action Tangled or the producer of Descendants. Let me just say this, there will be a lot changed if Jonathan Clarke walks in through the doors of Disney executives and becomes the writer and producer of Descendants. That's what you girls want to have happen. You know, if it were up to you and Disney would listen to you, I would be the writer and producer of Descendants. Because as far as I'm concerned, I understand the Descendants cast better than they understand themselves. I understand both franchises better than they understand themselves. And I want to put it out there that, the Descendants and Zombies universe is the most incredibly supportive niche that any podcaster could ever have the honor of talking about. So many podcasters will sit down in front of their microphone and they will try to make sense of Descendants and Zombies, and nothing makes sense at all. They're offering criticism towards the franchise more than they are actually giving it the benefit of the doubt. They're saying, why is this happening? They tried to understand, for example, what were daywalkers and what were nightwalkers. Duh. Anybody knows what a daywalker is. It's a vampire that can walk in the daylight. And nightwalkers are nightwalkers that can walk in both the night and the daylight with the assistance of special rings, like we saw in Vampire Diaries years ago. And yeah, that guy Damon Salvatore, I've always wanted to punch in the face because he was just one of those arrogant vampires that really made no sense to me. Some of these guys that were on these vampire shows years ago were really arrogant people. I remember years ago, I was doing some work with the Twilight franchise, and the guy that played Jacob on the franchise, I think his name was Taylor Lautner, was it not? And I had him booked for an interview one night, and for some reason he no-showed the interview, and he just gave me some excuse over the phone why he couldn't do it. And I haven't heard from him for years, and I've always wanted to get into a street fight with that guy ever since. But yeah, like a lot of the Twilight people were really unprofessional. The Vampire Diaries weren't that bad, but I just thought that some of the guys that were on these vampire shows were really arrogant. So after my experience with the Twilight franchise and everything went south, and I wanted to punch Taylor Lautner in the face, I decided to become a vampire slayer in the Zombies franchise. When I first saw the Zombies franchise, I was hoping that vampires were going to see their introduction into the Zombies franchise so I could become a vampire slayer and realize my lifelong dream, because I had produced Buffy the Vampire Slayer years ago with the wrestlers being extras. I had something to do with the Twilight franchise, so I thought it would be kind of really cool. And there's just something about riding on a motorcycle with Meg Donnelly on the back of it, outrunning thousands of zombies during a zombie apocalypse. That sounds just freaking insane, and I just wanted to be a part of it. Come to think of it, I would love to be living with Meg Donnelly in an apartment somewhere, and then she'd just go for my crazy pills in the bathroom one night after feeling as if she was going to zombie out, and then look at me and say, "Hey, Jonathan, I think I'm zombieing out." And then I would take Meg Donnelly on the back of my motorcycle to the nearest hospital, which is only like 5 minutes away. Literally, if I ever have to call an ambulance, the ambulance is literally 5 minutes away from my house. I have this thing. Actually, in the house that I lived in before I moved into this one, I lived across the road from an ambulance. And here, the ambulance is actually 5 minutes away. I have this thing where I either buy houses that are 5 minutes away from an ambulance shelter, or a soda plantation or a chemical plant that could explode. What is wrong with me? But at least if Meg Donnelly was going to zombie out, I'd know to be able to get her to a medical facility and get her there really fast. So if a zombie apocalypse ever happens, I guess I'm okay. And I want Ruby Rose Turner to know, wherever she is out there in the world tonight, everything is going to be okay. Some girl is really crushing on me, going to hit my subscribe button. Oh man, I got it done. But yeah, I actually do live 5 minutes away from a soda plantation and a chemical plant that could explode, 5 minutes away from an ambulance shelter. I have this thing about me. Yeah, and I've seen virtually every horror movie you could think of, from Friday the 13th to Nightmare on Elm Street to Halloween to Freaky Friday to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Batman. By the way, I love how Meg Donnelly says I love Batman in Japanese. Yeah, man, I always wanted a girl who could say I love Batman in Japanese, so Meg, you're going to want to give me a call, man. But yeah, I love the Descendants and Zombies universe so much, because that's really what it is. It's a universe, and it's incredibly supportive. And if more podcasts out there would devote their time to talking about Descendants and Zombies, one thing that you would forever and quickly realize is that the Descendants and Zombies niche will forever love you. And they will forever protect you against every criticism that you ever receive as a podcaster. It is truly an experience that you really have to experience yourself. It's one thing for me to tell you about how much of an enjoyable experience this really has been for me, but it's a whole different experience when somebody actually goes through it themselves, and then they come out on the other side, and the smoke settles and the dust clears, and you realize that you've fallen in love with something that you never ever want to fall out of love with ever again. And if I was in possession of a pocket watch, the one thing that I would do, I think, the more that I think about it, would be go back in time, if I was in possession of a pocket watch, just to fall in love with this franchise all over again. Because I'm averaging like over 1,000 views per day. I'm beating girls on YouTube that actually lift weights. Professional bodybuilders who are girls that lift weights. because of the subscribers that I'm putting up here on this YouTube channel. And that is unbelievable when you beat professional athletes and other podcasts out. Every show that I ever hosted that had something to do with pro wrestling, I'm beating out in the ratings. It is truly unbelievable. I can't thank you enough. It goes without saying that the Descendants and Zombies universe is incredibly supportive of who and what they believe in, and obviously you, for some reason, believe in me having been the voice of Descendants and Zombies for what feels like an eternity. This is something that I think that I was meant to do for my entire life, and I really do love each and every one of you for being so incredibly supportive of me, because I honestly don't know where I would be without each and every one of you tonight. I know for a fact that I would not be here sitting in front of this camera with a light blue shirt on, that many of you probably think is really cool, creating these videos on Descendants and Zombies. I know I wouldn't be doing this tonight if not for each and every one of you. And I want you to know that from my heart to yours, I really do love you so much. And I hope that you do go out of your way to hit the subscribe button, because I always check my subscribers. I'm a real sweetheart, and I always check my subscribers to see who's subscribed, who loves these videos. And I just want you to know that this YouTube channel will forever and always be here for you, because you guys deserve to hear far better than what you've been hearing. I know I say a lot of crazy things about how I lived across the road from a vampire and thought my neighbor was a vampire for years. It is truly unbelievable how each and every one of you are so incredibly supportive of me, and I honestly don't know where I would be without each and every one of you here tonight. So I just want you to know from my heart to yours, I love you so much. And we will do this again tomorrow. I'll tell you what. If I get, 3 or 4 likes and 5, 6 subscribers from this video, if I can get 1 subscriber, I will come back tonight with another video for you guys. I don't know what time it will be uploaded, but if I get a couple of likes and get a couple of subscribers from talking about the original Descendants cast in this video, I will come back tonight, because you guys have deserved to hear far better than what you've been hearing on YouTube. And yes, I really do mean it when I say I would love to be in these action scenes for Descendants where Red is on the back of my motorcycle and either me or Red or me and Meg Donnelly jump the Grand Canyon. Because there's just something about only living once in this life and having to make it count. But I've also always believed that there is never enough kindness seen in this world. So because there is never enough kindness seen in this world, you should take every opportunity that you have to make the most of it and spread your own message of kindness, like you should do right now as the sun sets on all of our lives. Thank you guys so much for having been a part of my life, allowing me to be a part of your life and be the voice of Descendants and Zombies for what feels like an eternity. Bye, YouTube, having said that, and we will do this again in probably a couple of hours from now, and if not, first thing tomorrow morning. Be kind to one another, because kindness does go a long way in this world, and life is sweeter when all of us are.